Hi, this is Mark Harry. Welcome to the fourth video in our election series. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Good news today, we've got an election date being the Saturday the 18th of May. Looking forward to that. Today I'm joined by Stephen McCarthy. Welcome, Stephen.
Mark.
And we're going to be talking about a thing called the credit crunch. Now, of course, what is the credit crunch? We're going to find out. And most importantly, what the election effect is and what it means to you. So, Stephen, let's start off with what is a credit crunch?
Well, as a result of the Royal Commission we had for most of last year, the Commissioner has said that the way the banks assess people for their borrowing capacity, taking their household living expenditure into consideration, was far too low. Mm-hmm. And the Commissioner has recommended that the banks review that process because he's basically saying is that the banks have been irresponsible in lending people too much money.
So, Stephen, who does the credit crunch affect?
Well, Mark, unfortunately, it affects everybody who has a loan, who either has one now, or wants one into the future, or applying for one.
So, Stephen, what does all this requirement to provide such detailed information mean to the average mum and dad?
Well, Mark, good question. Unfortunately, the banks are going to want far more information than they ever have done before. So there's a fair bit of work now in looking at a loan. Now, the problem is that you can choose to, let's say you have an interest-only loan and it's coming up for, at the end of, say, a 3-year interest-only period. Mm-hmm. Now, the bank will write to you and say, look, we are going to roll your loan across into a principal and interest loan. Now, that, of course, will push your payments up because you start paying down the principal. Now, that's probably not a good idea. But that's actually what they're looking at doing, unless you intervene and say, no, hang on a second, I don't want to do that. I want to continue to roll with interest only.
Now, of course, Stephen, we've got the election coming up in just 5 short weeks or thereabouts. So what effect is the outcome of any election going to have on credit crunches and royal commissions and the like?
Okay, good question. Both the political parties, both Liberal and Labor, have come out and said that we are going to adopt all or most of the recommendations of the Royal Commission. So there's no end in sight for this credit crunch. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, though, the National Party, the Liberal Party came out just a couple of weeks ago asking the banks to sort of take it easy and ease up a bit.
So, Stephen, in the light of the election, what can the average person out there do? Okay,
well, Mark, fortunately, the way it works is that the banks just don't have a uniform benchmark. They all interpret the data differently. Now, the opportunity there is that as a mortgage broker, we have a working knowledge of how they're assessing these benchmarks. So if we have a customer whose loan's coming up for review, we too will require all the same information that the banks will, but we'll be able to then point them in the right direction so we can give them the loan that they want, not necessarily the one the bank wants to give them.
So, Stephen, it sounds as if that if you're out there with a loan and maybe it's already rolled into P&I or it's coming up for a change, mm-hmm. that now's a great time to be in touch. Yep. And to put a few things under the microscope and see what benefits and opportunities are available.
Exactly.
Sound good?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Well, look out for our next video in the series coming up soon. Election rolls on, and we look forward to speaking to you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This cut is fresh.